Welcome to the Google Cloud Update for the week of May 15th, 2026. I am your host, and we have a packed episode for you today. First, I will give you a quick summary of what we are covering. We are starting with some critical security updates regarding container breakouts that you will want to patch immediately. After that, we will dive into a massive block of data and analytics updates, covering BigQuery, Looker, Cloud SQL, and Spanner. Next, we will explore the AI space with some fantastic new agentic capabilities in Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform. Finally, we will wrap up with infrastructure, networking, and observability. Ready? Let's get right into it. Let's get the scary stuff out of the way first. Security researchers have found two container breakout vulnerabilities in the Linux kernel, affectionately known as Fragnesia and Dirty Frag. These allow an unprivileged local attacker to escalate to root on the host. If you are running standard GKE clusters with Ubuntu nodes, you are impacted. But do not panic. Upstream kernel patches are actively being built into new GKE releases. In the meantime, migrate your workloads to run as non-root if you can, or set the seccomp profile type to runtime default. And hey, if you are using GKE Sandbox, you are completely safe from this. Google has also proactively rolled out hardware-level mitigations across their server fleet for several AMD and Intel CPU vulnerabilities, including those affecting the Zen 2 microarchitecture and Intel's L1 cache, so no action is needed from you on that front. Thanks, Google. One last security note. A missing authorization vulnerability in the playbook import functionality of Dialogflow CX has been patched. It previously allowed an authenticated user to escalate privileges, but this has already been fixed across the platform. Moving over to data and analytics. Over in BigQuery, we have a fun new feature in preview. You can now use the AI count tokens function to estimate the token count of the text input you provide. If you are building generative AI applications, this is huge for keeping an eye on your token usage across input, output, thought, and cache tokens. You can also now configure BigQuery sharing listings for multiple regions, making it much easier to share datasets across global geographies. Looker also has some great updates. The Conversational Analytics Advanced Analytics feature is now generally available. Plus, in preview, you can create conversational analytics data agents directly on your dashboards and even publish those data agents to Gemini Enterprise. You can also now set default row and column limits for dashboard tile downloads. For the database fans, Cloud SQL for MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQL Server now support regional endpoints for the admin API in preview. This helps keep your API calls localized, which is fantastic if you have strict compliance requirements. Oh, and Polybase is now generally available for Cloud SQL for SQL Server. This is super useful because it lets your SQL Server instance use T-SQL commands to directly query data stored in external sources, just as if it were sitting in local tables. Rounding out the data segment, spanner vector index and approximate nearest neighbor distance functions are now generally available for PostgreSQL databases. And if you use spanner change streams, the default data retention period has been bumped from 1 day to 7 days, giving you way more breathing room. Finally, Bigtable is introducing Aerospike migration tools in preview, helping you migrate to Bigtable with 0 to minimal downtime. Oh, and Database Migration Service now has Gemini-powered conversion quality assessments generally available for heterogeneous migrations. Let's talk AI. Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform has a massive update this week. If you use Agent Search, you can now use agentic retrieval with the streaming answer method. What does that actually mean? It means the agent plans and executes searches sequentially, picking the best tools like Google Search or Google Maps for each specific step. This enables multi-pass searches and multi-turn follow-up questions for vastly superior results on blended search apps. This is generally available with an allow list. Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform Search also lets you specify a weight for searchable fields in your schema so you can control their relative importance in your search results. The platform is also expanding its reach, adding new data stores in public preview, including GitLab, Box, Google Sites, Mermaid Chart, and Block Scout. To close out this week, let's touch on infrastructure, networking, and observability. For users of Managed Service for Apache Airflow, just a heads up that there is a known issue with certain recent versions of the Google API Core pre-installed package. It can cause degraded environment performance and much longer task execution times. Please upgrade your environment to the latest builds to resolve this issue. Also, you can no longer create Gen 2 environments for managed service for Apache Airflow in the Johannesburg region. It is transitioning to Gen 3 only going forward. If you manage external application load balancers, you can now use 3 new variables in your custom request and response headers: ASN for the client's autonomous system number, Cloud Trace ID, and hostname to preserve the original host header. In the observability space, CloudTrace now automatically generates a trace span for tools/call operations from remote MCP servers like Agent Search and Google Security Operations. This is absolutely perfect for debugging the behavior of your agentic applications. We also have a few administrative and security wins. Backup and DR service now supports CMAC, or Customer Managed Encryption Keys, for Cloud SQL enhanced backups. In identity and access management, the IAM Recommender can now help you remediate excessive permissions for Google groups by transitioning them into temporary, on-demand entitlements using Privileged Access Manager. And finally, the Cloud KMS Encryption Metrics Dashboard and project-level key tracking are now generally available, giving you a beautiful summary of your keys used in CMAC integrations. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. From token counting in BigQuery to agentic retrieval in Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, there is so much to build and explore. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week for another dose of Google Cloud news.